Hey, this video is going to cover the third page of our study guide where we're focusing on the midpoint of a segment as well as the distance or the length of a segment. Okay. All right, we're going to do question number 10 first. Okay, so each of these questions we want to find the coordinates of the midpoint, and then we also want to find the distance. Okay. All right, question number 10. S is at -2, 4. And T is at 3, 9. All right, so there's our segment. Okay, let's find the midpoint first. Okay, now what I like to do for the midpoint is I like to figure out what's the distance up. All right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll go halfway. So I'll go 2.5 spaces. Okay. And maybe I can just write 5 over here. And then I'll look at the distance over. Right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. But then I'll just mark halfway. Okay. And now I'll look at where my two halfway marks line up. And that gives me the coordinates of the midpoint. Right, so this is the midpoint. And I can see that its x-coordinate is halfway between 0 and 1. So that's 0.5. And its y-coordinate is halfway between 6 and 7. So 6.5. Okay. All right. So that was the first part of the question, finding the midpoint. The second part of the question is find the length. In other words, how long is this red segment? Okay. All right. So there's a formula that we used in class which went a little like this. The distance up squared plus the distance over squared equals the shortcut distance squared. Okay. So the distance up is 5, the distance over is 5. So this would be 5 squared plus 5 squared equals, I don't know, I'm just going to keep writing the word shortcut squared. All right, 25 plus 25 equals the shortcut squared. 50 equals the shortcut squared. Okay. So the length of the shortcut squared is 50. This is not 50. This is the shortcut. This is the unsquared shortcut. Okay. So in order for me to find this length, I have to unsquare the number I've got right now. In other words, take the square root of 50. All right, let's open up a calculator. Okay, root 50 is, it's about 7.07. All right, let's just have that ready to go when we need it. Okay, so 7.07 is equal to the length of our shortcut. And by the way, the shortcut represents this diagonal segment. All right, that was question 10. Question 11, it's the same thing. Our first ordered pair is 6, -3, right there. The second ordered pair is 7, -2, right there. All right, so there's our segment. All right, the distance up is 1, mark halfway. The distance over is 1, mark halfway. Okay, where do those two halfway marks line up? Right there. Okay, so that's our midpoint. And the ordered pair, okay, so the x-coordinate is halfway between 6 and 7, 6.5. The y-coordinate is, the y-coordinate is halfway between -2 and -3. So -2.5. Okay. Right. Excuse me. Now we'll figure out how long the segment is by looking at up squared plus over squared equals shortcut squared. Okay. Let's give ourselves some space. So up squared plus over squared equals shortcut squared. All right, so that's 1 squared plus 1 squared equals shortcut squared. All right, so all of that is just 2. So the shortcut squared is 2. Okay. If we want the unsquared shortcut, then we'll just take a square root. Okay, square root of 2 is 1.4. Okay. 1.4 is approximately the length of the shortcut. Let's move on to question number 12. Okay. The midpoint of segment JK is 6, 3. One endpoint J is at 14, 9. Find the other endpoint. Okay, so 6, 3 would be right there. So I'm going to put an M to remind myself that's the midpoint. Okay, 14, 9. All right, that's J. That's one of the endpoints. Okay, we need to find the other endpoint. Okay, so I'm imagining the segment's probably going to look something like this. That's our midpoint, one endpoint there, one endpoint there. Okay. Well, what I can do is I can use the up and over again, right? Figure out how many spaces up and how many spaces over, and then just repeat those distances. All right, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over. All right, so let's just go 8 more over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 6 more down. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so then the other endpoint should be right there. Let's draw the whole segment now. Okay, yep, that looks good. Okay, this point has an x-coordinate of -2 and a y-coordinate of -3. All right, -2, -3. All right, so you see for a lot of these questions, it really just boils down to, find the distance up and find the distance over. All right, number 13. Point M is the midpoint of segment AB, okay, where A to M will be represented by 3x plus 8, and M to B will be represented as 6x minus 4. Okay. Find AB. All right, let's draw a picture of this. So here's a generic segment. One end is A, the other end is B, and the midpoint is M. Okay. All right. From A to M, we're going to label that as 3x plus 8. 3x plus 8. And from M to B, we're going to label that 6x minus 4. All right. So something to remember is that the midpoint should be exactly in the middle. Okay. So the left side should be the same length as the right side. We can put like the matching dash marks on the segments to remind ourselves that they should be congruent. Okay. So if they're congruent, then this length is equal to that length, right? Or we can just take the expressions and set them equal to each other. Okay. Now we've got an equation where we can use algebra to solve. Okay. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So that'll be 8 equals 3x minus 4. Next, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So that'll give me 12. And then now I will divide by 3 on both sides. So x is equal to 4. All right. So we found the value for x, and some students might actually stop here, but the directions didn't say find x. The directions said find AB. So what we now need to do is take our x value, substitute it back in to these expressions to figure out how long each half is, combine the two halves together to get the total length. All right, I'm going to switch colors here. So the left-hand side is going to become 3 times 4 plus 8. That's 12 plus 8, that's 20. And the right side, remember, we're going to substitute 4 back into x. So that'll be 6 times 4 minus 4. That's 24 minus 4. That's also 20. Okay, so 20 on the left, 20 on the right. So the total length from A to B, 20 plus 20, is 40 units long.